Well, that was fun. Well, I have gone further to get less. No, I can't get less. I get nothing. I get the same amount. Gone further to get the same amount. My goodness. You know, I guess there's nothing I could do either. I was going to say, I could have came here and we could have went a mile with Spitfire, but it's warm out, right? And we're always cognitive of his electrolytes, right? Ever since the episode he had when he was 3. That's why I was so leery about doing it in Canada, but the one reason I did do it in Canada was it was freezing cold that night. Today, it was 78 when I got here, by the way. What a difference. Like, I'm boiling in a sweater. I needed a coat when I left Ontario, or when I left Ohio. When I left Northeastern Ohio. When I left Northfield. You know, the country dancing thing, it's not her fault she broke a hobble. It is what it is. Nevertheless, that series is over with. I'm not worried about it. Looks like there's some sharks waiting there anyway. I'm just going to send her back to Ontario. She can race in the Non-Winners 2 for the next 4 or 5 weeks in Ontario. And, you know, at this point, what you want to do is in the perfect world, it would be like Foxy Seaside, right? Get their confidence up as they head out into the staking world. That is always the plan. Doesn't always work that way. 53-3, you say, geez, that's a quick mile. She did win in 53 flat last year. Now, it was in the middle of the summer, but it wasn't like it was chilly today at the Meadows either. So, it's very simple. I'm going to get her a new set of hobbles. And it's not like the other ones were broke. It's the same thing. One of the plastic clasps that was on it busted through and, you know, the fabric let go. It happens. You know, people break hobbles all the time. I don't think they were bad hobbles, but she'll have new hobbles moving forward. So she'll head back to Ontario. As I said in an earlier video, I don't view that as a waste of anything. Just making, you know, trying to correct. And as it turned out, it was a wrong decision. But pretty hard not to have her in Pennsylvania for the first stake when she's paid into them, right? So it may have been a mistake, but that was hindsight. There's no one that could look at the way she raced her first start and say, you know what we shouldn't do is send her to Pennsylvania for that stake race. Anyway, she can go back. Dominic will have her back in the next few days, and we'll race her next week in Ontario with hobbles that are together. Westland Warrior, Ronnie said he couldn't rate him. I know he didn't want to let the Bolin kid go, and Westland Warrior can be a little rude in his mouth. I saw the half pop up, and I'm like, this horse is going to win in 54, or he's going to collapse, one or the other. Unfortunately, it was the latter. Let go a little bit. And listen, he was safe, a little choppy. I want to talk to Ronnie also. Was he a little pacey? Looked like it's hard to tell because he's always close. Looked to me like when he came out of the last turn, was he safe? Is all I want to know. We can find a spot for him. Non-Winners 2 at Northfield will lead to the Non-Winners 2 but 4 claimer. I mean, realistically, the horse is not worth $45,000 US. So, concerned he's going to get claimed is non-existent. Just a good spot. Again, we're just trying to get the horses moving forward. I don't care if they race in the stakes. I don't care. There's nothing worse than having the 4th best Buckeye horse in a race. Who cares? All you did was pay to get your head beat in. Just show me a horse that can race competitively. And I know there is a horse inside of Westland Warrior that can race competitively. His attitude has not impressed me, but he does have enough speed to race very competitively in the Non-Winners 2 up to the Non-Winners 4, and quite frankly, if he dispatches them and gets a good 5-6 starts in those classes, can probably race in the Non-Winners 4 up to 7 with ease. So what? He's not a sire stake horse that we hoped he would be. He's not a Buckeye horse. He wasn't last year, or a stallion horse. In Kentucky, he was present. Always those flecks, right? Always he might be good enough. Oh, I see a little glimmer of hope there. I see a little spark here. But you have to have that consistency. That's what he's lacked. We're going to help him with that. So we're going to give him a class that he should be able to consistently do well in. That's our job. So the Meadows, bit of a bust. It's okay. Cadeau's got a shot. Wait, no, he made a break in the first turn too. I don't really know. I didn't get the post-mortem yet from Jason and Tyler. You know, I had said to Jason, it's so funny. Cadeau always went from a horse that wears tight hobbles to a horse that does not like them tight at all. You know who else did that? Was the horse that I just raced, Spitfire Overseas. When he was 2, when you watch his first lifetime start, those hobbles were handcuffs. And he went in 55-2, his first start at the Meadows, maybe his second lifetime start. May have been his first lifetime start, I'm not sure. But beat aged horses. That was a open maiden. Now, it wasn't like it was the elite lot, but it was eligible 3 and 4 year olds. He might have been the only 2-year-old in the race for all I know. Jogged. But now, you can't wear them tight. And we'll talk about him in a minute. That's a whole other situation. I watched the post parade of the race in Northfield, and I said to Jason, his hobbles might be a hair tight. We know where they went, but now you're taking cork off, and now it's totally different. And it may not have been the reason. Look, see, you get out of gear in the first turn, and he lost him. All right. Maybe he's due for a little vet work, a little touch-up. Those knees bug him from time to time. Not going to blame Tyler. I couldn't see that he did anything wrong. He didn't grab him quick to get him in a hole. He didn't try and push him into a hole. He did the right thing. He was just going to let the front 2, the inside 2, trot away from him and move him left. He did nothing wrong. I can't explain the break any more than I can explain it here. But I'm going to try in a minute. So that makes for a tough day. I'm thinking if Westland Warrior's good, he's a winner. Country Dancing, I'd just like to see a good race out of her. As it turned out, I just would have liked to see a full race out of her. Westland Warrior was underwhelming. Cadeau makes a break. Oh my goodness. Well, at least we got the open here. I post-paraded Spitfire. I thought he was comfortable. I thought the hobbles were good. He was terrible. Like, he's not a lever, right? Any of the races he ended up in the front, it was always just chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug, chug-a-lug out of the gate, and then, boom, take off. He never, ever in his life crossed over in front of anybody. He's just not that horse. But he's coming in off a number of very sharp performances. We took all the cork off him tonight. Now, this is where it gets a little messy. He didn't wear a lot of grab at the Meadows. He was bumpy at times. Didn't wear a lot of grab. Took him to Mohawk. I raced him his first start. He was bumpy, but he was safe. He had a lot of grab on. His hobbles were too tight. But I didn't go to Ontario for him to make a break. Apparently, going somewhere to make a break, 3 hours and 10 minutes is my max. Anytime after that, they have to stay trotting. So after the race, I said to James, hey, and to Dominic, I had the hobbles on too tight, and you probably got them out. Now, James said he was bumpy his next start, but he was good. It was safe. He said bumpy but safe. It's a good way of putting it. Jody drove him last week, told me the hobbles were way too tight. That's weird. Really? Okay. Hobbles were way too tight. All right. But he looked great. Just got beat for second at the wire. Beat by a couple of good horses. Really good horses. Come down here today, 7-2. I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic, but I know what he's like. And he didn't feel that way. In post-parade, he felt good. But in the race, not 3 strides did he put together properly. Bump, 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 bump. Like he's hitting himself, but he wasn't. I'm watching him. He's not hitting himself. Took the grab off him. But so when you buy the aluminum egg bars that come forged, they're already made. Just an egg bar, a circle aluminum egg bar, drill 4 corks in it, away you go. That's what we had for Ontario. Come down here, and Eric does a great job welding. Eric Thomas, great blacksmith. And he calls me. He says, I got your horse in the shop here. This is going to be too much grab for Miami Valley. I said, yeah, I didn't know it was like this. It's literally like summer tonight. It's 7:45 at night. It's still 75 degrees out. It's 20 something, right? 32, 43, 21 degrees Celsius. It's nice. I said, all right, well, it's the day before the race. I don't like shoeing horse the day before the race, but I don't like him making breaks. And too much grab is too much grab. And the aluminums he made were welded out of an aluminum shoe. They had a grab on the front. It was a perfect shoe. If you would have said, okay, Anthony, I know you're not a blacksmith, but I want you to draw as best you can 4 shoes to put on this horse on a piece of paper, those would be the 4 shoes. So Stacy, poor Stacy and Brett, they're white as a ghost. They both of them are sick. Brett's just getting over the virus. Probably the same one that Amy and I and the kids had. Coughing your face off, staying up all night. Stacy's not feeling good. She goes, what do you think? Yo, Mr. Race, great. I wanted to make sure. I went on the run. I immediately looked to see where Brett was. I didn't want to impede him in any way. And if I had just left him alone, in my head I'm thinking, you should have waited another 5 strides till he came out of the turn to kick the earplugs. But there's the other boy saying, you saw how he was trotting. He was not going to make it all the way down the stretch anyway. Which he probably wouldn't. But I did pull him a hair early. It just felt to me like I was coming in range. If he had a real big run in him, I was going to make it interesting. And instead I made it very uninteresting. How do we take the wrinkles out of Spitfire? I'll tell you this right now. Spitfire's got 2 speeds. Well, on the track. I'm not talking about the track. He's got 2 ways to operate. Really slick and really fast, and really bumpy and kind of fast. Those are his 2 gears. You don't get to see the slick one very often. And can't really tell you what makes him slick and what makes him bumpy. His mechanics are very tricky. He was wearing an entire shoeing shop full of shoes. Try this one on him, try that one on him, try this one on him. Oh, the aluminum egg bearers work great in Ontario. Perfect. They work terrible in Miami Valley. Alrighty, now what are we going to do? So I think before we start pulling our hair out trying to figure things out, let's go back to being a trotter. Have the veterinarian look at Spitfire Overseas, see if there's something actually bothering Spitfire Overseas. And if there is not, if Dr. Carter, sharp guy, used to be our vet when we were in Southern Ohio, when we were stabled down here a million years ago. Man, that seems like a long time ago. If Dr. Carter can't find anything, okay, well, why don't we just do what we do with trotters? Or we start changing shoes and doing a million things, just put a set of toe weights on him, make him do his work until we can get to the bottom of what is going on. It could just be this surface. Now, I said that, and Stacy said, well, he loved this surface last year. And Brett came around the corner and he goes, we'll note that this is not the same surface it was last year. This is not the same track. He said that Spitfire was kicking up a lot of dirt. He was right behind me. So he was throwing a lot of dirt. So he said, I think he's digging into that track too much. Good thing we took all that grab off him. Oh, maybe not. Who knows? Just this, he's the type of horse that will make you overthink yourself. If a blacksmith owned Spitfire Overseas, he would literally have a stroke by the time he was 5. Because he's not very often he's the same. And it's not, there's not like, when he gets like that, you got to do his knees. When he gets like that, you got to block his feet. It's not like that. He's a weird horse. It could be a number of things. It could be a number of small things. It could be something bigger. Maybe his hock's knee done, maybe his knees, maybe an ankle, who knows? That would be where you would start. The veterinarian. I don't think it was anything in his blood. Not worried about that. He seemed plenty strong to me. I don't think he tied up or anything like that, but now that I say it out loud, that would fall under vet. So, why don't we draw his blood? Why don't we have Dr. Carter look at the horse? If that is anywhat inconclusive, no problem. Add some weight. He is a trotter. Make him trot. They were in the 6th hole of the hobbles. Put them in the 8th hole. Put a set of toe weights on him. Make him do some work. Until we're at a position where we're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. This is our game plan. I don't want to send this horse back to Ontario with a bunch of breaks. So, not very happy about the way today went, but that is racing. Spitfire will bounce back and do well now that looks like money is in to go at the Meadows again. We'll probably have to wait a week to execute our plan. What will likely happen now is we'll see what Spitfire fits. Well, I'm gonna have to wait till I'm done this. See what he fits, where he fits it, when he fits it, and then we will go from there. So not a great day, just one of those days, right? Hobble breaks, horse gets, run down the road. Another one makes a break. Maiden makes a break. One of those days. But tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow is Thursday. We'll see if we can keep everybody trotting, put some numbers on the scoreboard, and get back in the swing of things. So with that, I'll let you go. That is it for the evening. 7:51, an early conclusion to our evening. Lots more to do tonight for you. For me, I'm just going to drive. I'll be home at 10:30. Take care, everybody.